So happy Sunday, June 27th, 2021, 11:39 a.m. you guys. So what we're gonna learn today, kiddies, is how to make homemade roach traps. Okay. I'm out in the she shed, been out here for this whole month pretty much. It's the end of the month, so it's time for me to go back in. June is Great Outdoors Month. Um, that wasn't the catalyst of me coming out here though. The reason that I was out here, but it was a great incentive to be out here even more, which I absolutely loved. I hate that I have to go in, except that I'm really, really busy and I'm trying to focus on my work. And it's been going really well anyways, but what I'm finding is that I work until midnight every night or a little bit thereafter if I need to really finish something or I'm really into it. But what I'm finding is that right now it's like really hard crunch time, and there's these Japanese scarabs, and it's really annoying. So it's time for me to head back in. But another news, I noticed that I saw a couple of bugs. Okay, we're gonna say that. And so I definitely need to manage that. So I'm gonna give y'all some home remedies to roaches, and it may help for other bugs too. Here are some of the ingredients. One of the ingredients is boric acid. Just so you know, there is boric acid that's specifically made for roaches, but if you get the kind just pure boric acid, that can be used with ants and all kinds of other stuff. I don't know if it's more potent or what the deal is, but I just finished breakfast not too long ago. It was really, really good. While I'm working, I always like have a little buffet set up. It's over here now. But we're gonna need to move back inside. But I have a little buffet set up, and usually I have easy to munch on things, stuff I could just throw together, because when I'm working it's really intensive, and I hate that I had to take today to basically move everything back inside because it's gonna take a long time. It takes time. So, but everything in moderation. So I've been working like crazy these past few months. Really intense the past month, but 13-hour days sometimes. There have been days, 1 or 2 days, where because of security issues and things like that, the hours did lack a little bit, but yeah. So anyhow, without further ado, homemade remedy for roaches. So I'm using my leftover paper plates from this morning from breakfast. There's about 3 different types of roach traps you could set, which you're going to need for all of them. I would recommend a pair of gloves, because you're going to be handling boric acid and just messy stuff. So a pair of gloves, a disposable spoon, paper plates. I got 2 because I plan on using 2, and then a container to mix your mixture in that you're going to make, some old school peanut butter, and that's my lotion. That's not boric acid. Bear with me just a moment while I reach over to grab some boric acid and boric acid, Roach Away boric acid. Okay, so you can get anything that you want, but that just happened to be what I have. I found that it didn't work when I used it before, so it's been sitting there. I probably had that for years and years. The roaches probably ate the boric acid. But anyhow, so we're gonna put on our handy dandy gloves. We're gonna make the mixture first, and then the ones that I use, because I don't have any pets or any kids, so I can just kind of free ball it. But pretty much you want to do a mixture of 1 to 4. So 1 for every 1 part boric acid, 4 parts peanut butter. So I'm going to make a few traps. I'm planning on, and the good thing, there's 3 different types. One is a bottle cap type. And yeah, so you want to have bottle caps too. I forgot to tell you. So if you got those little water bottles or whatever laying around, we're going to use the caps for traps. So, and that's no cap. So we're going to get some of those and fill those up. So 3 different types of traps. You have and I'm going to go ahead and start making this while we're doing this. All of this is going in the garbage, of course. So 1 to 4. So I'm going to do a lot of this. I'm going to do maybe 8 of these spoonfuls, and these are plastic spoons I got from Wendy's or somewhere. The only thing about this is that it can't really be exact because you have to flatten it out on top, because it's a spoon. But yeah, so that's 1. Okay, But I guess maybe I should just go on and just put them in the cap instead of trying to mix it in there. And do like a quarter little sprinkle of this. That makes sense. Right? No, I'm not doing that because then I have to do it for each one. It's going to be messy. So we're not doing that. But anyways, 2. And we'll go over each of the different types. Again, I'm doing 8 because I think I'm going to do 8 capfuls. And we'll start out with that. Now, the idea behind this is that with the boric acid, it's going to take a while for you to see a change, and I need to keep track of counting. That's 2. It's going to take a while to see a change because what happens is that they eat the boric acid, and then they take it back to their nest. This is 3. They take it back to their nest, and they feed those things. This is 4. And then they die, which is murder. And I remember when I was younger, I couldn't kill anything, but hey, I'm pretty bold these days. I can actually swat bugs with fly swatters. I can kill flies. So kudos to me. You gotta do what you gotta do. 5. 6. This is a lot. This peanut butter is so old, it smells different. 7. I'm glad I have it around. They might not even like this peanut butter. It's so old. Okay, and so it's 1 to 4. So since I'm doing this, this makes it easier. I'll just put 2 spoons of this, the boric acid, in there, right? There you go. So there we go. So we got, and again, all of this is going in the garbage. So that's 8 of those. I'm gonna see if I can open this. This was in a, yeah, I can. All right, so we're gonna put in, we don't want to put so much. We're gonna do, like I said, it's 1 boric acid to 4 peanut butter, and we don't want to do too much because it'll kind of thwart them. And what I would recommend is putting it over the plate and doing it. So if it sprinkles some, it sprinkles on the plate, which is going to be one type of trap that we're setting, where you have a light dust. Oops, see what I tell you? So where you have a light dusting of the boric acid around the plate, break it up nice. And this is scary because it looks kind of like baking powder, which I love to use in my cooking. But and it's good for when you're frying chicken too. Baking powder is not boric acid. Yeah. So that's 1. Cheers. Sprinkle it on in there. And I guess I'll maybe mix as I sprinkle. So this will be a mixture of 1. And then I'll put the other spoonful in. And we'll do that too. So yeah, so the idea behind the paper plate version of it is the same thing with the little bottle caps. Bottle caps are good because you can get them in little corners and cracks and crevices where they may be. But the paper plate portion of it, it gives like a double whammy for larger areas. Like if you have, I don't know. For me, I don't have any kids, so I can put it in the middle of the kitchen floor if I want to. So, or pets for that matter. So you can put it, you know, in a bigger area. The only thing is it might annoy you if you make a mistake and trip over it or something stupid like that. Whoops. This might be too much. Okay. But yeah, so the idea behind the paper plate version is that the bug will crawl across it and they'll get the dusting of it on their legs or whatever. And when they do their grooming, they shall ingest it and kill themselves. So this is, and so another thing too about like managing pests and things like that, you know, being outside this past few weeks or whatever, it made me realize, you know, I thought about slavery. I thought about, and I'll tell you how all this relates in a minute. I thought about slavery and racism, or perceived racism, and pests in general. So being out here, like I said, sometimes I notice like bugs is getting on my nerves, like only at night. In the daytime, not so much. But at night, those beetles come out. And look up Japanese scarab beetles, and they're just Absolutely frightening. So because I poured it over this, I got some sprinkling of that on here. So I'm just going to sprinkle, you know. Oh, this plate has an actual hole in it, but that's okay because it's been burned. But hey, there's a fresh one under here. So, but yeah, so what I realized is that I remember when I lived in Florida and I was in Fort Lauderdale, and there was this big thing where the sheriff, my back is itching, something bit me on my back, where the sheriff was like, you know, they called all black people roaches or something like that. And you know, black folks, and like I said, I don't get involved in politics and all that. I don't give a flying fuck what nobody, excuse me, I don't care what nobody has to say. Fuck them all is what I say. I don't care either way. Just leave me the fuck alone. I don't give a damn. So excuse all the bad language, but that's exactly how I feel. I really don't care. So just leave me alone. But so yeah, so black folks was real mad about that, where they called them all roaches. And then when I thought about it, and I think about how sometimes I'm minding my business like I always do, you know, and folks get bored or whatever, and they want to mind my business too. It may not have been a racist comment where they were saying that, because that's what it is. It's a pest. You bothering me. I'm not fucking with you. You bothering me. It's like a fly, swatting a fly. You're annoying me. I'm trying to do my thing, and you just keep on annoying. And then you feel like you have a right to keep on annoying, so you keep coming back and bothering me some more. So, you know, perhaps it's not fully a racist thing that they were saying. You know, it's just just leave folks alone. You know, don't go where you're not wanted. If somebody don't want you there and you don't need to be there, don't go there. You know, people don't seem to understand that. Because I think about that. I think about how, like, even in this situation, to myself, mind my business, don't bother nobody, you know. And I make it known that I really don't want you bothering me, quietly, if I can. And it's just folks just want to bother you, even grown-ups. I'm like, what the hell, you know? But I just mind my business. And when I think about it, and what made me compare it to that, or even, and then what you do is just put it into the small bottle cap after you sprinkle it on the plates. Okay, so when I think about that, I just think about how annoying it is. Like the day I was sitting outside and that man was just looking, I'm just like, okay, well, maybe he's not looking at me, he's looking at something else. But no, he made it clear, hey, I'm looking at you, you know. And just being annoying and rude about it until he saw that he was on camera. Then he wanna be like, oh, you know, but you didn't give a fuck if I saw you or it bothered me or not until you saw that you was on camera. You ain't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? And then let me get another cap. So then you know, like the kids just continuously, and there's one that doesn't do it anymore. I guess their mom talks to them, because I don't see no other reason why they wouldn't, you know. But you know, just walking across the yard, their little candies and erasers and all kinds of shit. and you know you don't want them. But then there's one child where you could see, like, specifically, they would, you know, look up into the camera just to make sure that you saw them, or they would, you know, walk differently. Like, I can walk where I want to walk. I can do this if I want to. You know, but I'm just saying, you know, just because you can don't mean that you should. And not everybody has to spend extra time and resources to tell you that you don't need to be where you're not wanted. You know what I'm saying? And when you think about it that way, it is kind of akin to bugs, because people give you're just making babies, creating kids, they're not taking care of, don't know where they are, and then when you see on the news that somebody got shot, somebody got killed, what was that child doing out there by themselves? You know? And then when people get shot or killed, teenagers, whatever, then you hear, oh, this was such a good person. And, you know, I don't even like to get into all of that, because there's a background and history behind it. You know, somewhere somebody brought a child into this world they didn't want to take care of. That child got abused. That child had to fend for themselves the best way they knew how. Had to take care of themselves mentally the way that they knew how. And so that meant that if they had to come out their mouth sideways, if they had to be rude and disrespectful, that's what they had to do. Because somebody brought a child into this world that they didn't mean to bring into this world. But it's not their fault too, because they had issues as well. So they went around sleeping with some dudes that they didn't, you know, that wasn't worth a dime. You know, so half of everybody, it's just, you know, and that's why I say in my old age, it's just too much. You know, it's just too much. Just too much. Anyhow, I'm going to keep on with my caps. So I'm filling them up, and I'm going to probably dust a little teeny bit more on top when I get a chance. And I have plenty of water jugs that need to be recycled. So hey, I'm going to use all the caps on this. At first I thought they were too big. But yeah, I'm going to recycle all of these. And when I say recycle, repurpose, or either just throw them in the garbage can. What I've been doing is cutting them open, using them for plants and, makeshift plates and shit like that when I'm out here. But yeah, they're going in the garbage. I just need the caps off of them. That's why I have them around right now. But yeah, so that's just how I feel about that. Everything is not racist. Things are racist. And then sometimes people say things because there is a definite correlation. And it comes in, again, my upbringing's a little bit different. It does come off a little bit racist because, like, if you say, oh, well, they're brown like roaches. Yeah, that is a little racist. But it's, I don't know. And then that's why when I say about being older and not saying too much, it's like, because there's a reason everybody does what they do, good or bad, whether it annoys you or not. And people are just trying to survive the best way they know how. So I try not to, just like the gay, like most of the world, I think everybody's going to be gay after a while. The gay dudes, that really, and men in general now being misogynistic towards women. And some women made some really good points that, perhaps men don't really like women. They like to sleep with women. They like the presence of a woman that, puts herself into a feminine, which I really don't care either way. But that puts themselves into a feminine thing. But they really are misogynistic towards women. And I think it really goes back to the wealth when it comes to black people. When it goes back to the welfare system where they broke up the families. Either we can help you or either you can't have a man in the house. So when you had men that were really trying to be men, then they brought the drugs in and sent them all to jail. Then they all fucking each other. Now they all, it's too much. And then I think that's why a lot of these young men now are gay or bisexual, because that's the culture. And it's the seed of it was put in back then when they sent all the black men to jail and took them away from the families. So black men didn't have a purpose. They couldn't be with their families, So then they started seeking other races. I mean, it's just a lot. And I think what happens is that, excuse me, I'm going to get some more tops, but as you get older, you see the whole picture like unravel in front of your face, and you have an understanding of it, and you see how deep it is, and it's just like, it's just a lot. It's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misinformation, and things that people will never know. It takes a lifetime of experience for you to see and understand. And you have to have an open mind, but there's so many distractions. People don't even have time to think. Don't even have time to think about, ooh, the flies like the peanut butter, the fly cane. People don't even have time to think about that, because when you're younger, you're passionate about stuff. Either you're passionate about being vain, about you looking good and this, that, and the other, or either, you're passionate about being successful and causes and things like that. And, you don't see everything, And then what happens is that, and I remember my teacher, again, they took me out of the whole yearbook in Hampton. I graduated from Hampton High School in 1993, but I'm no longer even in the yearbook. They removed me from the yearbook. I'm not sure, maybe because of my presence here. I don't know. But but that's okay. I existed. I was here. But one of my high school teacher, AP Miss Horn, and nothing ever changes. I was looking back at something that somebody posted on Donahue a while back, but she says that, she said this back when we were in school, and she was talking about how when you see all these people that were in the civil rights movement and all of that, how those folks, how many have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of those people are young, they were like college students, probably 25, no longer older than 30, because by the time you get older, you've been beat down by the system and the knowledge of the truth of what's going on so much that a lot of times you don't have that fight left in you. You see that that people, because it takes a community to make a change. You understand me? And if everyone, and sometimes I wonder, like when you hear all these stories, like you see little posts and stuff on TikTok about how some man walked 10 miles to work every day and bicycle and this, that, and other. People do that every single day. But don't nobody care, and people see them every single day, and don't nobody care. I was one of those folks. I've walked 10 miles to work at night and had people think that I was selling myself on the way home, scared, like teenagers trying to pick me up, But those stories, I wonder, are those real stories, or are these things for people, do we know these people? Are these things for people to get paid off of? And I think some of them are real, but I think the truth of it all is that what God has for you is for you. If God has people to be compassionate about for you and all that, then he does. Because I know it broke my heart. This is after the case where George Floyd and that police officer and whatever happened. Shortly, in this little town that I live in, and I always happen to get caught up in these little towns that have no names that nobody knows about, but somehow there's a huge story attached to it somewhere. They have death in it or some type of scandal. And so this happened to be where that young man got rolled in the carpet. And I'm thinking, how do black people treat each other so bad when you see things like that happen? You would think that would bring people together, but don't nobody give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Because there are still black folks treating each other like shit in this small place, and intentionally. And I have stories that I can tell, and I don't even be out there like at all. Not even like that at all. But maybe the 2 or 3 instances where someone has come to darken my doorstep or my presence, or somehow through with something me taking care of business I had to come in contact with or put themselves in my view. Nobody has been there hasn't been any sincerity. I'll just put it that way, male, female, or otherwise. So it's just, and you think, that those types of things would bring community together, but they don't care. Steady out here, but this is just what I see. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of good out there. But again, I don't see it. I know that there's got to be. But anyways, back to that man that I was talking about in this little town that I lived in, maybe about 9 months ago or so. He was walking down this street that I've walked down a lot, because sometimes I like to get my exercise and take long walks. I need another bottle cap. Where can I find one? And take long walks. So I find myself, I walk to Walmart. I walk 3 miles, 6 miles. I don't care. If I had time, I would do it now. 10, 20, 15 miles. It's good for your body. It's good for your mind. I just don't have time right now to do it. But he was doing it. He was walking from that direction, like there's a Walgreens near there or something. And the police stopped him, slammed him, broke his wrist. They had the wrong person. And thank God it was another black guy, because I saw the video he posted and I happened upon it on TikTok. Isn't that something? And this is somewhere I walk all the time. So fortunate. This is when the COVID stuff was coming out. Fortunately for me, like I said, what God has for you is for you. That could have been me, Not that I haven't been mistaken or something said to be mistaken or something like that. But, and he won a case. But when I think about all the things that have happened in my life and occurred, but that's not the journey that God wants me to be on, and yes, I say bad words, but yes, when I say God, I mean the spiritual universe or whatever, but it's not the journey that God wants me to be on. I don't have time for, I have a little bit of life left. I have maybe 20, 30 years of life left, and or more, depending on what God has to say about it, but, and I want to enjoy it, but my whole point in this, and I finished my traps. I really want to do one more, but I don't know what it is. But that's basically it. And then there's one more version of it, like for the paper plates ones, you would just put the thing in the middle, sit it out in the middle of the kitchen floor or wherever you're seen a bug somewhere. And you can take the little individual ones and stick them in little corners. Within a couple weeks' time, they should all, you should see a lessening of the situation, depending on what type of situation you have. Also, in addition to that, this is kind of archaic, but duct tape. You can get some duct tape, and again, the same kind of premise here. This is like a sticky trap and a bait trap in one. You can get some duct tape and put the bottle cap in the middle of it and let the little suckers get caught. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I'm thinking I could put it in an X, but I don't even know if I want to deal with this because this is just too messy, and I'll probably poison myself because I need to cut it. And yeah, I did that. So yeah, so that's it. That's for the little traps, and I guess I'll show them to you. And that's my little rave, about all that's going on. The bottom line is this, don't talk about racism and all that. I mean, if it compares how somebody else is treated, if it matters to you how somebody else is treating somebody else, make it matter to you how you treat the next person. Make it matter to you how people are treating you. Make it matter to you what you're doing, in your spot where you stand. Are you growing where you are planted? If you're not, then you don't have time to worry about everything else. Everything else is just gossip. You don't know. You ain't been there. You don't know. So, grow where you're planted. And that is it. That is all. But anyhow, so here's my paper plate dust trap that I'll set probably in the middle of a kitchen floor somewhere. Here's a little bottle cap dust trap that I'll probably put behind the refrigerator. And then some cracks or crevices. And then I'm going to do a duct tape one just to have some variety. And I'm probably going to do 2 pieces, like to make it a cross. And I'll stick that, I don't know where I'll stick that. Maybe between the fridge and the wall or something. I don't know. Just for kicks. Anyways, those are your roach bait traps, and we'll check back in a couple of weeks and see how they work. That's what I say, but we'll see how things are going then. But anyways, peace out. Hope y'all are having a good day. And is anyone else my age, and do you share any of the same feelings that I have? And I normally don't even talk about it unless I get on here and I'm just working on stuff. But if you do, let me know how you feel. And if you're of any other age and you share it, let me know what your thoughts are. Just trying to see if maybe it's a generational thing, which I think it is. But anyhow, peace out.